Rallies that are going fast, like really fast, but not just any old description of going fast. It's going fast while on dirt, gravel, mud, through forests, jungles, and cliffs. All while making sure you and your tungsten cojones don't wrap around a tree or fall into a pit.
And left 5 long to finish.
And of course, who can't forget the famous phrase from everyone's favorite rally driver, the legend Colin McRae: when in doubt, flat out. Obviously, with a sport as popular as rally, there were games to be made. Some were successful and well-loved, such as the Sega Rally franchise and the Dark Souls of rally games themselves, Richard Burns Rally. While others started out as okay, and then became questionable, a la WWRC game series by Nacon. Seriously, what have you done to Solar Crown? Jesus Christ, I can't believe we lost the WRC. Let's from EAG, guys. Tangent aside. But one studio and game series that is almost synonymous with the rally as a whole is the Dirt Rally series by Codemasters. Although the Dirt series and Cody's as a whole has a lot of backstory to go through, I would more like to bring up what I would consider the refocusing era for the franchise. Although people would say otherwise, but this is just my overall opinion, which clearly means it's correct. The Dirt series was experiencing kind of a little bit of a loss of focus at the time. And a lot of people that are fans of the franchise, and even Cody's themselves, noticed this. So they ended up going back to the drawing board. I mean, after all, this series has evolved so much from what it was at its core, just a fun dirt racing franchise, to include a whole bunch of trucks, buggies, super lights, and a whole bunch of other stuff that, while cool, you know, encompassing more of what the franchise was, getting down and dirty with cars, it kind of lost a bit of what it was at its core, which was portraying the dangers and adrenaline of pure rally. Thus, from that restructuring, we got the next 3, okay, technically 5 games in what I would consider the refocus era for the Dirt franchise. So, join me on this as we go and strap in and buckle our seatbelts. It's time for some Dirt Rally. Now, Dirt Rally is the first game in this refocusing of the core genre for the Dirt series at this time, which is pure rally. But obviously, just to keep some stuff here and there, they did add a rallycross and hill climb for extra content, which is really fun. Not to say the series entries were becoming bad, but the series was starting to lose what it was at its core. And through this refocusing, Codemasters have truly made a masterpiece in strides for physics and game engine technology for the time. Now, going back to it after playing some of the future titles, while the game still has beautiful graphics and the physics really do still feel awesome to play, there are some moments where they can feel a little clunky. The cars tend to have a little bit of a weight, like, yeah, it's a car, no duh, it's supposed to have the weight, Sherlock, but as in, like, they feel too weighty but weightless at the same time. Like, an interesting way to describe it would be as, like, the cars are very communicative about the bumps that they're feeling, but at the same time, the steering has a sense of, like, floaty dead zone that in some cars is okay, and in other cars, not so much. Hey, Eder Dylan here. Am I like the only one that finds it funny that me driving the Ford Focus ends up hitting the Montoon sign? You know, the car company that tunes Ford Focuses. Funny joke, haha. Seriously, can I plan this better if I try to do it intentionally? Anyways, back to the regular video, I guess. As I said before, besides those physics oddities, the audio in this game is just truly breathtaking even to this day. Take a listen. And even then, the visuals are still really good. They tend to look a little dated in some areas, but beyond that, overall, I mean, you guys saw the intro I did. The visuals still look amazing in motion to this day. The main crux of the issue with Dirt Rally 1, though, is it was definitely a game to where the engine came first and the game came later. This can be very much seen when it comes to content and the presentation of said content. It tends to be a bit lacking. Like, the game feels as if it's still a little underbaked in terms of how the menu present themselves, and in terms of car content. Not as bad as Assetto Corsa. That is an example of one extreme. But the content tends to feel a little lacking, almost a bit more as a early access proof of concept game that has some jank, but the jank doesn't really detract from the overall package. But this lack of content can be especially seen when it comes to the car variety and track list, as it can feel very limiting. I mean, there's only really a handful of areas, and while they do have a lot of tracks, a lot of them tend to be either extensions of the shorter tracks or reverse layouts. And a lot of the vehicle list really covers just the basic vehicles you would see in rallies, such as low horsepower cars, rear wheel drive cars, some basic Group B machines, Group A to like some modern 2010s rallies. You know, maybe like a rally cross and some hill climb cars there just for some extra padding. The problem is there's only maybe 3 to 5 cars in every category, when if you look at the previous games and even the car list of some of the future games, dear lord, especially with DLC, there is, oh boy, you can definitely tell they're using this game more as a platform basics to just get the engine work down. That's not to say that it has no personality at all. It is a game that very much has a personality of you're going to experience the whimsicals of rally. It's just that it could still use some polish. Overall, Dirt Rally 1 really is a great foundational game for the future of the series, and it's really awesome to see where it went from here. Okay, so there is one problem that is gonna appear in this review that I kinda gotta talk about, which is the fact that I don't actually own Dirt 4 currently to get any footage about the points I want to talk about. But I have played Dirt 4 before, and quite avidly when I was younger, because it was one of my first Dirt franchise experiences, and I did play for a bit for this review at a friend's house that did have it. Dirt 4 really is, mechanically it is a good game, but it just feels boring and misguided. Like, the menuing is fine, it's serviceable, but it doesn't have any of the flair that like the older Dirt games had, like Dirt 2 and 3. While it is certainly better than what Dirt Rally 1 had, the problem with it is that Dirt Rally 1 still had a atmosphere to it. It had a sense of direction. Dirt 4 just doesn't have that anymore. Yeah, it has similar physics to Dirt Rally 1 because they use the same engine, and it's awesome. Physics feel okay. They feel a bit too arcadey versus Dirt Rally 1, which I get it. The Dirt series is meant to be the more arcade one, but they give you the option if you want a more sim style handling, and it's still like, it just doesn't feel like Dirt 1, and they didn't really fix the handling gripes I had before. The cars still have a sense of weight to them that just doesn't sit right with how they turn, and it feels just a little exacerbated once you get into the trucks or something, like, dear lord. But it's just doesn't have a sense of atmosphere, and it doesn't help that, as Fast Miner put in his own video, there's just wasn't any marketing. Like, it just really felt like they just kind of just made the game to make the game. Like, it doesn't really feel as if they're proud that they made it. And then getting back to the game modes, like the rally mode, it doesn't use any official tracks. It's really cool, the idea of procedural generation. The problem is, we already tried that before with, what was it, Gran Turismo 5 or 6, and that didn't turn out too well either, because while procedurally generate tracks seem cool, it's not really full procedural generation. It was just taking several track pieces and putting them together, which, you know, a la Hot Wheels, which would be cool. The problem is there's only so many tracks you can make out of a select amount of pieces from your toy bin, and they never really update the game to add more pieces, or, you know, go to Walmart to buy some more. So it just kind of ends up feeling a little like samey. Like, there wasn't really any cool landmarks. They were all just themes. So, like, while the game, mechanically speaking, was good, the graphics were still, like, in terms of environmental graphics, they were still good and beautiful as always. It just kind of felt like something was missing. So while it's not bad, it's just kind of eh. But the next game in the series, Dirt Rally 2, does pick things up a bit. Now, with Dirt Rally 2, it actually takes off not from the Dirt 4, but instead takes off from, of course, the previous game, Dirt Rally 1, which, oh my god, it's Dirt Rally 2.0. You know, that 2.0 really does fit. It's just Dirt Rally, but evolved. It's got better menuing. The graphics and game engine physics have gotten a whole lot better. Like, the environments are just, I don't know how, but they're even more breathtaking than any Assassin's Creed game. And I thought the environments in a lot of the Assassin's Creed games are pretty good and breathtaking, but man, hey Ubisoft, I think you need to hire these freaking environmental artists, my guy. And of course, the sound quality, my god, the sounds! Oh, they're so good. But besides that, of course, we have to talk about how does the game feel? The game feels so much more improved. The cars still have weight, they still feel controllable, you still feel like shit if you're on a gravel road with lots of water. Dear lord, nothing has grip. and it just feels good. There's just no other way to say it. It just feels good to drive, to drift, to crash and eat shit into a tree. It just feels good. Now, the game on its down point does suffer a bit that while it does have more content, it's not as much content, but they did fix that with up to 4 seasons of DLC and a Colin McRae story DLC. And people who normally would be like, Dylan, why are you saying this game's looking as DLC? You normally are not one. You're normally a person who's like, oh, this game has DLC, hoop-de-da, this is shit they should have added from the beginning. Here's the difference. Dirt Rally 2.0 is a complete game. They didn't have to give us more. They could have gone the Dirt Rally 1 route. They didn't have to give us more cars. They didn't have to give us more tracks. Much less for like, what, a whole year or two? They didn't need to give us a whole Colin McRae story DLC. But they did it anyways. Whether it's, oh, these are cars pulled from other games or whatever. No, because these are all new models, all new game sounds, all new areas. They didn't have to do this, and they did. Dirt Rally 2, much like Dirt Rally 1, is truly a game made out of passion for rally. And the game feels it. Through how the cars feel, the environments. Even the menuing is so beautiful and simplistic. It's as simplistic as Dirt Rally 1, but still shows off a flair, like how whenever you go through the menus after an event, it takes a screenshot of that event in time, and like, it's just so cool. The loading screens going in, showing you the routes, all the details of the track you're about to blaze trails down. Dirt Rally 1 showed off the whimsicals of rally. Dirt Rally 2.0 is showing you getting into the nitty and gritty of it. This game is gonna kick your ass, and you're gonna have fun while it is. That is the essence of Dirt Rally 2.0. So, Dirt 5. Where do I begin to talk about this? So, let's begin from this perspective. It is a damn fun game, but it just isn't a good dirt game. But what do I mean by that? Alright, so let's begin with the positives. The game is fun. The environments are awesome and engaging. The AI, if you put it on hard difficulty, will want to eat your ass. Oh, that is a dead person. Dear Lord! Oh my god. The menuing versus Dirt 4, just the atmosphere. Dirt 5 is bombastic, in your face, ready to rock out and have fun. Like, it honestly, The game, yeah, it's following the same influencer atmosphere, shit like that, but in all honesty, it does it in a way that doesn't feel bad. It feels like fun. Like, the game wants you to fucking play it. The level creator stuff that Forza Horizon 5 would end up stealing after it is really cool, intuitive, and fun. I've had some fun playing user-created levels. But then comes the negatives, that while the game does feel good to play, the physics do kind of feel off in some areas. If anything, it feels a lot like Onrush, which Codemasters end up grabbing that studios at them. Seems like they had them work on this game after Onrush, because the physics are very similar, so they take getting used to. One of the other downsides of Dirt 5 is there's no rally. That kind of seems a bit odd. That the rally franchise does not have a rally mode. You know, even if they just brought back the procedural generation stuff, because they worked heavily on their because they worked heavily on the route creator, like a map creator thing. They could totally work that way in the ground up to try to make some rally stuff or do auto-generated content or whatever, but it's interesting. But there are definitely a lot of modes and environments in the game that are a lot of fun, that you can definitely tell love and passion has been put into the game. It just feels misguided to an extent. Not like Dirt 4. Dirt 4 just felt like it didn't have passion to begin with. It just kind of felt like they made it to made it. Dirt 5 heavily feels like they were having fun making the game. They were passionate behind it. But it just felt like it was maybe pushed in the wrong direction. I don't know. It just feels off in some areas. But overall, the game is just a lot of fun. The game wants you to play it, it enjoys you playing it, it wants to be in your face, being like, this is the game you're gonna have fun with right now. And it's honestly amazing. But, as I said before, it's not a good Dirt game. I've alluded to this earlier. If anything, it's as if it was a sequel to Dirt Showdown. Very similar style atmosphere, very similar feeling physics. It felt like, heck, there's even a DLC that adds a Dirt Showdown style car. This game really feels like it should have been reworked earlier on to be a Dirt Showdown successor. Because that's really what it feels like. It feels like a spiritual sequel to Dirt Showdown of all games. But that's not a bad thing. As I said, I would have much rather preferred this over the blandness of Dirt 4. And in my opinion, I'd say the game has honestly aged quite well, even with the influencer angle. It doesn't really feel that bad. And I mean, it's not like we haven't done the influencer angle to the Dirt series before. I mean, Dirt 2 and 3 heavily leaned on the influencers of the rally sphere. Like, you know, the person who currently runs FIA, Ken Block, rest in peace. Heck, the whole series was built on the back of Colin McRae, one of the most influential dirt rally racers of the time. So it's not like we haven't done this before. This is just embracing the modern age of automotive influencers for it. And, as I said before, it's not bad. If anything's aged quite a bit. It kind of ironic that it's a donut and that those people are slightly disbanding, but it's good. It still feels like a good game. Just not a good dirt game. A good Dirt Showdown game of all things. And with that, we head to the last stop of this, well, retrospective on what I would consider my generation of the Dirt series, which is EAWRC. Ooh, this is gonna be a somber burial, ain't it? Now, EAWRC is the last game that Codemasters will release for a while after they got acquired by EA. Mostly because EA has decided that, well, right now it's just not a good idea to work on those projects anymore for the Rally franchise. So the EA, well, not the EA, but the WRC license ended up going back to Nacon, and we're gonna see what they produce. But you know what? We could talk about this being sad a time, but we're gonna talk about how really good this game is. And in all honesty, in retrospect, despite the amount of shit people give this game, despite the troubles, the development issues, the skepticism about Codemasters being acquired by EA and everything's just gonna go downhill from there, EAWRC feels like a true love letter and culmination of, and really everything Codemasters has been working for since Dirt Rally 1. As I've stated initially, a lot of their early on Dirt Rally games, Dirt Rally 1, Dirt Rally 2, while they were really good simulators, they had a lot to be desired as games. And EAWRC properly accomplishes that. It's fun, the environments are still awesome, the audio is still awesome, the menu layouts and the game UI is finally right where it needs to be. And the game modes, yeah, we lost Hill Climb, we lost Rallycross, but we finally got a proper career style mode towards you somewhat managing actually having a rally team, similar to what they do for the F1 series almost. You're able to build your own cars for the junior, mid, and top tier of WRC, which is really cool. It's not a feature people really expected, and it's really interesting for the time, having to like budget out how expensive your car is along with your career mode, having to budget out getting it fixed and not, you know, making your investors get mad at you for having an expensive car and stuff like that. It's really sick. It's got a bare bones livery editor, but it's something. And all the parts you can use to build your cars are very interesting, and how they affect performance, handling, and durability. And then you have the historic rallies, or the scenarios, which they've had in previous games, but not up to this depth, to where every season was a whole different scenario, either fictional, with different cool car and track combinations, and even some based on real life, to where it's like, this driver got a penalty, make up as much time as he can, go, go, go! And like, it's just so much fun. And of course, we also got to talk about how much more improved just the base game track list is for the rally events. So many forests, tarmac tracks, snow tracks, gravel, hillsides, switchbacks, mud, dirt, it's all there and it's great. And obviously, as I said before as well, not to mention the car list. I mean, the car list, because now they finally got the WRC license, means they have access to a lot more cars, and of course now they got EA's money. So the car list is a whole lot more improved from last time. We got so many cars in so many different divisions: Group B all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, Rally 2, 3, 4, WRC Junior, WRC 2, whole bunch of cool, interesting cars, a whole bunch of like F2 kit cars, Peugeots, Renaults. We got a freaking Twingo 2 rally car of all things. The Twingo 2. Oh my god. How you have even obscure cars as the Hillman Avenger. I didn't even know that car existed. Oh my god. And then you got the DLCs they definitely put a lot of passion into. WRC 24, instead of making a whole new game, they just made the WRC season a whole DLC expansion. The Hard Chargers DLC, and then the final DLC before everything went south, the La Maestros DLC. Now, for the handling, my gripe has always been that the cars tend to feel a little wonky here and there. I would say for the most part, that has been completely fixed. The game on wheel, a whole lot of fun. The game on controller, awesome. I mean, it's always been good on controller, but this is like perfect. I can tell my friends, hey, do you want to play a bit of a harder off-roading game? EAWRC. Really good on controller, you don't need a wheel, you still feel a lot of fun, the dangers, and if you're in first person mode and go off a cliff, you still feel like you're about to shit bricks. The problem is the rear-wheel drive cars. The rear-wheel drive cars are hit or miss. I looked at all the photos you sent before. That was a speed bump. They tend to feel a bit. If you ever played Dirt 5, they have a little bit of that kind of rear-wheel drive handling, but it's manageable. It depends on the car. Some of them are better at it than others. The Ford Escort is a Ford Escort. It wants to kill you no matter what you do. Other cars are very interesting. The freaking BMW LM prototype rally thing, like, what? Why is that in the game? But oh my god, it's in the game. The music list is just awesome as well. Really good, awesome, banging tunes. Codemasters has always been known for having such good music choices. To me, it's just sad that they couldn't work on this game further, because the game did also have development problems. In reality, although the game looks pretty similar to all the previous titles, Codemasters wasn't able to use their own game engine, so they had to learn how to use Unreal, which did cause some performance problems initially, which made it not sit well with a lot of the Dirt Rally fans. But over time it did improve. It's a whole lot more stable, a whole lot better, and all that. But honestly, I'm happy with what we got and what we ended with. Right now, EA just has Codemasters not working on another rally game. They're working on something. Maybe they have them helping with the vehicle physics on Battlefield, whatever, since they have everybody working on Battlefield. You know, the studio is still up and alive, and if anything, they're actually still hiring more people. The studio that made EAWRC for the Codemasters. If anything, my hope is they're probably putting them to help work on the next Need for Speed game. I doubt it, but I'm hopeful, because they did, as far as I'm aware, they did help out Criterion a little bit with Unbound, so I'm hopeful. Like, imagine a new Need for Speed game with the handling, tuning done by some of the dev teams on Codemasters. That would be a lot of fun. Overall, I'd say EAWRC is a good final song that the series has put on this track. And with that, I'm out as well. Thank you guys for enjoying whatever this video was, and hopefully I can create more. So until next time, hasta la vista.
This will